Well, here we are at Anfield, having just watched Liverpool draw 1-1 with Crystal Palace, Paul. It was a very strange game, eventful, and of course the big talking point, which we may as well come to it straight away, red card for Darwin Núñez.
Yep, the first sending off for violent conduct of the Jurgen Klopp era. Liverpool kind of pride themselves, don't they, on finishing top of the fair play table, and I think Andy Robertson at Tottenham last season, I can't remember too many other red cards over the last few years, but it was no doubt that he deserved it. Tried to headbutt Joachim Andersen, well, he actually did headbutt Joachim Andersen. Tried it a few times before he finally landed one on him and couldn't have any complaints, and bit of a disgraced way to mark your Premier League debut, really. He didn't even last an hour, did he? And I think Jamie Carragher said it on Monday Night Football, if he stayed on, Liverpool probably go on to win that game, because as soon as Diaz equalises, the crowd's up, Liverpool are creating chances, but just didn't have the extra man that could have made all the difference, especially when they were swinging in crosses at the end. So yeah, I mean, Klopp said he accepts it was a red, and he's probably let the team down. He's going to be suspended for 3 games, possibly 4 if it gets looked at by the FA or the Premier League. So not his finest night. I'm sure he'll have better nights. But other than that, I was
going to say, do you feel it was born a little bit of frustration for him? Because he had a good chance in the first half, which he volleyed over. Then just on the stroke of half time, he hit the post when I think he actually got tackled, didn't he? Or it was certainly hit against him. And then just before he was sent off, he had that opportunity work. I think it was Salah who played him in, I think. Yeah. And he had the shot, which he kind of missed it, and Joel Ward came over and the ball hit his side and his arm, but it was never going to be a penalty. And rather than just try and get the rebound, he appealed for the spot kick, didn't he? He was kind of in a bit of a mood by that point, and you could kind of tell things were, the desperation to succeed. And I've seen this kind of thing before. I think Joe Cole was sent off over there against Arsenal when he made his home Premier League debut for Liverpool, and his career didn't go on to be particularly good for Liverpool. So Núñez will you think wouldn't be over, he doesn't go down that particular road. But as you say, he's going to be missing for at least the next 3 games. It's not great. Look, they've even turned the lights off on us now. The lights out for Núñez, at least for the remainder of the month.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to be 3 games, isn't it? We know that could easily be 4. So that's United, Newcastle, Bournemouth, and then whoever's after that. I can't quite think off the top of my head.
I think it's Everton, actually. Is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, September 3rd. Yeah, so that's massive, isn't it? Particularly at the time when Roberto Firmino's carrying an injury. Diogo Jota's not had a pre-season. He's still got the hamstring injury that he kind of aggravated in Thailand, wasn't it, after picking up with Portugal. So it's coming at a terrible time for Klopp. You look at the bench tonight and you've got Stefan Bajcetic, who's 17, Bobby Clark 17, 18, Fabio Carvalho, obviously high hopes for him, but another teenager, and the most kind of attacking option off the bench was Naby Keita, who didn't even get on because he hasn't trained too much. So you look at the Liverpool squad now, and all of a sudden it's what was your give tonight for the Divock Origi on the bench at Takumi and Minamino? I know it's easy to say, but
you say that, but Carvalho almost won the game at the end with a volley, didn't he? And he came on and made a slight bit of difference. I mean, one of the positives was Harvey Elliott. I thought he had a very good game. Yeah. He came off the bench at Fulham, helped Liverpool get a point. And although he did go off with about 10 minutes to go, I think, when Carvalho came on for him, he got a little bit tired. You've got to bear in mind, it's only his 2nd Premier League start since he came back from his injury.
Well, exactly, and you mentioned Carvalho there, and he did well when he come on, but he's only a young lad, isn't he? Liverpool shouldn't be needing him to come on and pull them out the fire when they pretty much need a win, given last week's result of Fulham. And I think there's a lot to be said for the players who were on the pitch for the full game. They had loads of battling qualities, and you wouldn't have thought that Liverpool had a man less for the last half an hour of that game, because they dug in and really went for Palace, and maybe unlucky not to get a win. They didn't really create massive chances, but they were certainly on the front foot for most of the game. But looking at the wider picture, the injury concerns, the fact that Núñez is going to be missing until early September now, when he's still trying to get up to speed with the pace of the English game, I was reluctant to just throw out the do some transfers line, but you look at it and you think Liverpool might actually have to now between now and the end of the month, because
well, there's a centre-back situation for a start. Konaté's out for a while. Matip's going to be out for at least, Jurgen Klopp said afterwards, at least 2 weeks. Gomez, it turned out, got a knock at the start of last week, and that's why I thought he did quite well actually when he came on. I mean, it was tough for Nat Phillips. He started quite well, but then the longer the game went on, the more he looked like a player who hadn't played in the Premier League for 15 months and probably wasn't expecting to be playing for Liverpool ever again, and was thrown in. So you can't point the finger too much at him. But yeah, there's not many defensive options there. But you'd like to think that Matip won't last, out for too long. And then there's the midfielders where we said they missed Thiago. He's going to be out for 5-6 weeks. Oxlade-Chamberlain wasn't there. He'd have made a difference. Curtis Jones would have with a bit of energy. Jordan Henderson wasn't fit enough to start the game. He's another one who I thought did quite well when he came on. So suddenly it's like, hang on, there's about 10 players out there.
Exactly. Leaks are springing up left and right for Klopp, aren't he? And he thinks he's sorted his defence, and then the midfield, one or two injuries there, and then the attack options seem like they're getting depleted left and right. So I mean, there are problems all over the pitch at the moment, and it's a concern. I think not just for the short term, because already City are 4 points clear of Liverpool, and 2 games in, it sounds like hyperbole that we're already talking in these tones, but given the margins,
they were 14 points behind in January. You only lost by 1 point.
That's true. But just given the margins that we know separate these two teams, you can't afford to be giving City massive point tallies early on. Perhaps the good news is the visit to United, who are some way worse than Liverpool at the moment, shall we say.
The problem Liverpool got there then is that the one player who would have made a big difference against United has now got himself sent off, because United have got a 2-foot tall centre back, and Liverpool would have had Darwin Núñez there, and you can tell from the way they were playing in the first half, they were whipping the crosses in, and it was quite clearly a different way of playing. And it was quite funny that when he went off, that's when Liverpool started to click with, as you mentioned, the 10 men, and Diaz, who hadn't really done a lot the first half, he came in a bit more centrally, and obviously he got a cracking goal. Salah went up front, so I thought Salah did okay throughout the game again. He could have got one towards the end. So it's like Liverpool are missing a trick, as you said, in the short term of him not being there, because it's 3, possibly 4 games where Núñez could be playing and Liverpool could be getting used to him, because there's absolutely no point in them training overly with him over the next couple of weeks, because he's not going to be playing anyway.
Yeah, and already you don't get up to speed in the Premier League in 5 minutes, do you? So he's put his adaptation period back by a month there, just by tonight. So yeah, it's difficult, but I thought Luis Diaz took his goal really well. Klopp said on Friday he's looking for him to kind of turn those chances into goals a little bit more readily than just hit the post, or keeper's made a good save, or it's just gone wide. So that'll be a massive boost for him, I think.
I thought he was proper iffy before that, though. He wasn't great first half. I mean, he wasn't the only one. I mean, who else caught the eye for Liverpool then, do you think? Because you can't just say it was a poor performance. As you said, they spent half an hour down to 10 men, and that's when they looked more likely to actually get something. I mean, you could argue that Palace missed a trick, didn't they?
I don't know, really. I couldn't really pick one outstanding candidate. I don't think anyone was...
Keeper did well, I thought, because he made a good save.
Yeah. He always plays well, doesn't he, Alisson, when he's called upon, but... I mean, you did the ratings. Who was your man of the match?
I give it to Elliott, then Salah, and then a couple of the subs. Say Henderson did well when he came on. So
yeah, but much work to do, I think.
Indeed.